Hi everybody, I'm Phil Fatica. Welcome back to the Mill Creek Government Channel. We have missed you, and we have a big surprise for you. As we will get a little wider in our shot here, you will see that we are shooting this under different circumstances. But let's get to today's topic, and there we are in a broad shot. Today's topic is something that's been on the lips of a lot of people, and that is roundabouts. They're coming, and in some quarters, some people are saying, I'm not greeting them with open arms and applauding just yet. So we're here today to talk about roundabouts with two people from PennDOT. On your right is Tom McClellan. He is the PennDOT District 1 traffic engineer. And on your left is Jim Carroll. He's the PennDOT District 1 press officer. So it's a toss-up, gentlemen. What is a roundabout? Because we have a little poster here, but we'll talk about it as opposed to showing it. What is a roundabout? Michael, Thomas, let's start with you.
Sure.
We'll leave that right like that.
Okay. What we're looking at here is a roundabout. It's a new intersection treatment that we're starting to use here in Northwest Pennsylvania. We have the first one going in down in Waterford this summer. And it's different from a traditional intersection because most intersections have a traffic signal or stop controlled. And what you see here is with a roundabout, it's a yield-controlled intersection.
Okay. I see that. It's up on camera now. I guess the quick question is, why? Why roundabouts? What is the purpose of them? What do they serve? Because people are saying, well, I've seen them, I don't like them, I'm afraid of them, in fact.
Well, a roundabout is definitely better for safety.
Okay.
It reduces 90% reduction in fatal accidents, 76% reduction in injury crashes too, because what the roundabout forces drivers to do is maintain lower speeds upon entry and then upon exit. But
some people are saying, I always like to be the devil's advocate here, and Jim, you can hop in. We don't need one. It's not a bad intersection. Why are you spending all this money for something we don't need or want and we didn't ask you for? That's why they pay me the big bucks to answer these tough questions. Jim.
Our mission is to serve the public,
yeah.
And we do that by providing a safe and efficient transportation system.
Okay.
We believe this roundabout will make this road safer and more efficient for drivers and for the community. Now, typically, yeah, there's a lot of apprehension about roundabouts before they're built, but experience almost everywhere shows that once one is built and people become accustomed to it, that it's pretty widespread acceptance and people appreciate them.
Tom, you mentioned that there's one going to be going in Waterford, and I guess the obvious question for our viewers, and we go lots all over Erie County, why did you decide at that particular location in Waterford? Was there someplace else that one would be needed more? Is this the test market that's going to be using here, or your studies indicated that?
Yes, the Waterford location, which is 19 and 97, the southern intersection in Waterford, is a perfect example because it'll improve the level of service as opposed to a traffic signal.
Okay. How much does a traffic signal cost? Because they might be saying, well, gee, if there's a problem, just put that up there. Maybe you can put up, three-way traffic signal, maybe four, I'm not sure.
Yeah, a traffic signal normally runs between 150 and 200,000 each. But along with that, there's long-term maintenance that's involved. And that includes changing the timings, it's paying an electric bill. And with the roundabout, you don't have to worry about that because it's designed to handle different traffic loads.
I will,
Phil, if I could add,
sure, Jim, go ahead.
Those costs, maintenance costs, are borne by the municipality.
Okay.
Maybe people don't realize, but PennDOT owns 0 traffic signals.
Okay.
They're all owned, maintained by municipalities. So those traffic signals at 150,000 a signal, that'd be 1, 2, 3 configuration, and you might need 4 or 5 there?
Well, just one for the whole installation.
Okay. To come to your side here, to not to defend you, but to just say, we have a daughter who lives in New Jersey, and I've experienced the roundabouts when I've been there, and we had to cross a horrible intersection, horrible. A scene of many accidents. You're never sure who's going to stop or slow down or just even go busting through it. And they put a roundabout in. Admittedly, it took a little bit of time to get it up and running. But once it's there, we feel so much safer going through that. So, Tom, to just kind of reiterate what you said about the safety factor. But some people might be saying, is this part of those old traffic circles? I mean, or is this a change?
No, this is what we consider a modern roundabout. And a modern roundabout has some different characteristics I can point out to you.
Please do.
And one of them is for pedestrian safety. The pedestrians cross before they enter the roundabout, and they only have to look one direction at a time. They use the splitter islands. So you're only concerned with looking at traffic coming from one way. Another key difference between this and the older traffic circles is that you're yielding upon entry into the circle. So the people in the circle have the right of way, whether it's a bicyclist or whether it is a car.
Yeah, I was glad you mentioned about the bicycle. The bicyclist would follow the same pattern, entering, yielding to the circle?
Yes, yeah. Bicyclists would handle it the same way as a vehicle, as a truck, or if the cyclist chooses, they could hop off their bike and use it as a pedestrian.
Obviously, a change in driving habits and patterns are going to be affected by this, and so you got to ask, what are the signs that will be used to aid the motorists that you're going to be coming up on one instead of just driving into it and crashing into the middle of it? How are you planning on doing that?
Sure.
Jimmy's smiling on that.
Sure. As part of our design, we have signs for the pedestrian crosswalks. In advance of the roundabout on each side, we have a roundabout warning sign, and also there's guide signs that show people how to drive through the roundabout depending on which direction they want to head.
Okay, so there's going to be planned in Waterford. Are there any more in your far vision, any more roundabouts planned for Erie County?
Yes, we have a couple more that are in the design phase right now. One at Millfair and Route 5, one at some down in Sagertown on 19, and also one down in the city of Sharon, down in Mercer County.
Okay, but this is the first one that I am aware of in Erie County, right there at 19 and 97.
Yes, and we're also looking, and this is still in design, is the northern intersection of 19 and 97, right near the school and Humes Chrysler.
Yeah. Given that working, you got cars, you got bicyclists, and now you get to what is inevitable in every large traffic area there. You get to be trucks and you get to be buses, and especially school buses.
Yes.
How are they going to handle that? Are they going to be able to go in there and make those turns?
Yes, they will. The circles are designed big enough to allow truck movements, and that's one of the things that comes with the proper design. And there's also a truck apron. On the diagram here, it's kind of shown in the brown. And that's the area that a truck can use when their trailer follows behind the cab, that they'll be able to use that area to traverse the roundabout.
Okay. Are you going to have public meetings about this and explain this? Because we have a lot more of these poster boards off camera, but they're very hard to read on camera. You're going to have a public hearing on this and saying, we're going to start this, and here's the information you should be aware of. You're going to do a mailing campaign. How are you going to handle the run-up to this? Well,
there's a lot of information out there right now. There's different websites you can go to, and we've had public meetings in the past regarding the design of these. But there will be a little bit of a learning curve, but what we feel is that we're getting out there now, giving people the information. It's in the driver manuals.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yes, Jim.
Phil, when talks about safety and reductions of fatalities, I think it's important for people to understand that a roundabout is designed in a way where you don't get the angle crashes.
Okay.
What we would call T-bones.
Yes.
Typically in a roundabout, if you have an accident, it's a fender bender. And yeah, there can be fender benders, but it's those angle crashes that are most dangerous to people, produce the most fatalities, produce the most injuries.
I noticed on the diagram here, and just a question popped into my mind, there's basically a single lane as you go around. There's not like an inside lane and an outside lane on a roundabout, is there? Correct.
The one that we'll be installing in Waterford is a single lane roundabout.
So you don't have to worry about somebody that's coming from somewhere that you don't know where they're coming from. And I didn't see them because of my blind spot. And what kind of how tight will that circle be? I mean, it'll be easy to navigate in winter and snow. I mean, not that we get any snow in Waterford,
Yeah, the diameter of the circle is big enough to handle that. It's between 150 and 200 feet. So.
Okay.
Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's it requires you to slow to like 15 to 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, I was going to wonder, how are you going to approach that? Is there going to be a speed limit that says you are now at 25 or 55 and you should be slowing down too?
Well, with the warning signs in advance, and yeah, there is a lower speed limit as you approach it. And just the design of it makes you drive slower. Having the splitter islands with the pedestrian warning signs, the angle of approach that your car makes into the circle, and the size of the inner circle where you can't drive, it keeps the speeds lower.
Okay. Now, I've noticed this happen in my limited experience, but I've noticed it happening in roundabouts, that people get into it and there's a sense of small panic that takes over because here comes this car that I did not see, and should I stop? What should I do? Should I stop in the roundabout? And I'll get to my second part of that, especially if there's an emergency vehicle with its lights flashing. So let's take, I didn't see that person, I better stop because that person in the roundabout has the right of way.
Correct.
Okay. The emergency vehicle, what do I do with that? Yeah,
you never want to stop in a roundabout, but if you are in a roundabout and you encounter an emergency vehicle, you complete your journey through the roundabout, and when you exit the roundabout, you head to the right to let the emergency vehicle pass, but you don't stop in the roundabout.
Okay, done. Okay.
Of course, if you're in the lane going into the roundabout, you would pull over before you entered the roundabout.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we put a timeline on this, guys? When do you think you're going to break ground?
We're looking at early spring this year. March or April, we'll start the project, and we hope to have it completed by September.
Okay, so it'll be up and running. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We're going to stay with the same people with PennDOT, but what we'd like to do is, and everybody knows that the state is going to improve the infrastructure, the roadways, the bridges, and that's where these gentlemen come in, of course, because they're affiliated with PennDOT. Jim, as much as you know about this, because I know not a lot has rolled out on this yet, there's not a whole lot of public information. What can we expect? What's going to happen here with this new Act 89?
Act 89, okay. Transportation Funding Bill?
Yes.
It was essential, it was vitally needed in our perspective.
Okay.
We have a transportation system that's been underfunded for decades. And thanks to the governor, Governor Corbett, and a bipartisan group of legislators, we're able to get this done and pass it.
Okay.
And again, we have a highway system that was greatly in need of funding, and this is going to help us resolve that.
There's a lot of money to build a road. I understand that. And up here where we live, in the western part, where your district is mostly, we go through those vicious thaw-freeze cycles, and that just tears everything up. I mean, even the bridges, the salt that's used drips through. I was in control of the money. I'd say we get a lion's share of it here because we have a lot of difficulties here as opposed with on the southeastern part, perhaps, or more the edge with Maryland around there. I mean, they don't go through the problems that we have with the winter. Who's going to decide who gets the money?
Well, that's what they're working on now through funding formulas. Yeah. And yes, we are the snowiest PennDOT district, right? We get the most.
Yes.
We don't have the most traffic. We don't have the most people. I-95 in Philadelphia may have 5 times the traffic that I-90 or I-80 does, maybe more.
I have traveled that, yeah.
And they have enormous needs as we do. So they're looking now to see how this money will be distributed.
Yeah.
I think the first year it will mean $186 million for roads and bridges to be broken down and divided among 11 PennDOT districts.
Scary to me, and I think scary to our viewers too, is that you find that the people who inspect and examine the bridges say they're mostly unsafe. They're just not where they should be.
Well, not unsafe.
What's the word they use?
They're structurally deficient.
Structurally deficient.
And that means there's one or more parts of the bridge that are deteriorating quickly and they're going to need repaired or replaced.
Okay.
They're not unsafe. Our inspectors are very good. If it's structurally deficient, they increase the frequency of inspections. If they see a safety issue, first they'll reduce the weight limit on a bridge. Instead of being allowed to carry unlimited weight, they'll say 20 tons. If the deterioration continues, at some point they would either lower the weight limit or close the bridge. We had one in Mercer County this summer that we closed.
So then you could just repair the small part. You wouldn't need to have the
No,
whole
not
bridge
small parts, the
torn
deck,
down.
the superstructure or the substructure.
Yeah. You'd be able to repair
some of them.
Some of them, not close it down completely. I mean, what I'm saying is when it comes to structurally deficient, this is the part that's deficient over here. We could close it down and repair that. We don't need to do the whole bridge.
Often you do, yeah. If it's a substructure, you have to get down to the beams in the bridge. At times, we can do a half-width construction, let traffic go on half the bridge and work on the other half.
Right.
Sometimes that's possible, sometimes it isn't. If it isn't, then we have to detour.
Okay. And again, in our community here, weather is always a factor as to whether or not, I mean, we're taping this, and of course it's brutally cold, structurally deficient here, I think the weather is. Now that brings up the whole issue that people always ask about is, how come the roads are not plowed? Where are those plows? What the heck are they doing? This is a state route. Why can't they just get this done? I can't get to where I'm supposed to go because you guys are the bad guys.
We have what I consider an excellent workforce. Okay, our guys do snow as well as anyone, I believe. You have to be aware they can't be in every place at once. It takes 2 hours to 4 hours to do a snow route.
To do one route,
right?
Make a loop.
To make a loop.
Yeah.
We focus more on the interstates and heavy traffic routes, secondary roads.
And then it's the municipalities or townships' responsibility to get those others?
Their responsibility is city streets, township roads, or borough roads. Our responsibility is state roads.
Okay, okay.
And you look again, if we have a snowplow or a salt truck, if you have a traffic jam because people can't get through, our salt truck or a snowplow can't get through.
Right.
They'll sit in the traffic jam until everybody else can move. So it's not a precise process. It's art and science, and they do what I consider a very good job, but they can't be everywhere at once.
I know the term salt is used, that they salting the roads, but I tend to think it's not just that anymore. There's a combination that works at better, lower temperatures, or am I wrong on that?
Salt is less effective as the temperature drops. The temperatures we've been having lately, our crews are using mainly anti-skid, a combination of gravel and sand that they put on to give some traction for drivers. It's very important for drivers to realize when they're driving on winter roads, snow and ice, they have to slow down. They have to give themselves greater following distance and stopping distances. You know, yes, we work hard to make the roads safe and passable, but they also have a responsibility for safety. Good,
good. All right, Tom, let's come back to the roundabout.
Sure.
To build one, day one, to Phil, you can drive on it first. How much does it cost?
Well, with the Waterford roundabout, it's right around $2 million. And that includes a temporary signal during construction and also another roadway that connects into that temporary signal. We're fortunate down in the Waterford that we're able to have with the work zone, they'll be able to build the roundabout where it is and have traffic not detoured, but just bypass on the side. We're building like an access road to keep traffic going through the same area.
I was just going to ask you, I mean, if you're going to build this, all of a sudden does the road disappear and people got to go, well, you find the detour here.
Yeah.
So now let's jump ahead a little bit to in Mill Creek, right there at Millfair and West Lake Road.
Yes.
Yes, you said that that's a possibility. And why would that be a possibility? Millfair is not a heavily traveled road, but my understanding is there's going to be a bridge that's going to go over the tracks there. Yeah, is that correct?
Yeah, that's the big part of the project is a bridge that goes over the railroad tracks between West Ridge Road and East Lake Road.
And West Lake Road.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And you think that's going to add to obviously the traffic because now you don't have to wait for that train to go past. You know, you don't have to go all the way. Well, you'd have to go back to Asbury, or you have to go over to Powell. And then, because Pittsburgh doesn't work anymore, you can't get there. So on your crystal ball, how far away is the one in Mill Creek at Millfair and Westlake?
It's probably another year or two in design. Yeah.
And it's going to be the same kind of a thing that we're looking at right here.
Yeah, actually, with both the Waterford roundabout and the one at Millfair, there's only 3 legs to the intersection, which that makes it a lot easier. It's a T intersection as opposed to a plus, a 4-way intersection.
Right. Yeah. So that's easier?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. It is a T intersection there. Let's go on to the topics that you gentlemen work with every day and we all complain about. And you hear always the truckers would say that as they come through, the roads in Pennsylvania, they're terrible. Well, you know, why would we do? We're paying a portion of our taxes and they're not improving them and they're just terrible. Well, do they say that about every state they pass through? Okay, no, I got to admit, probably Georgia, no, you know, in July, no. But so you're of the opinion, Jim and Tom, please, that this bill is going to help alleviate that?
Oh, yes.
At least that perception.
The bill will give us the financial horsepower to make improvements, much needed improvements in the highways and bridges.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to bear in mind we're the fifth or sixth largest highway system, state-owned highway system in the nation.
Really?
And we are the only one that's in cold weather.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't
Pennsylvania
realize that.
has twice as many state roads as Ohio.
Really?
We have as many state roads as New York and the 6 New England states and New Jersey combined.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
And this is the first revenue increase we've had since 1996, so it's been well needed. And
almost 20 years.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you two guys, regardless of what the legislators and Governor Corbett says, you want to do what first? What needs to be done first? Roads, bridges, both?
Both.
What's in your scope?
The scope is, first they'll work on the funding distribution and formulas, and then prioritize. We'll do what we have to do first. We'll address the greatest needs.
Okay. And I think it goes without saying, you're going to see the price of gasoline a gallon go up? Is that how they're going to be paying for this?
Well, they took the artificial cap off the wholesale price of gasoline. In previous years, the legislature put a millage rate on the wholesale price of gasoline, but they said if it goes above, I think, $2 a gallon, we won't raise it above that. So it was an artificial cap on that.
Yeah.
So what was done now with Act 89 was remove that artificial cap.
Okay.
Additionally, they got rid of the 12-cent a gallon retail and folded that into the oil franchise tax.
What does that mean, 12.5 cents a gallon retail?
It was a direct tax to motorists, okay? Paid at the retail, at the pump.
Right.
We've eliminated that, or they have, the legislature, and folded that into the oil franchise tax. That amount is now part of the oil franchise tax, which means it goes through the distribution, oil, gasoline price distribution network. How much is actually added at the pump? Obviously, some is going to be. If it is at all, we don't know that. Even if it all would be, at the end of 5 years, I believe the average driver, it would cost them $2.50 a week. And we really needed to invest in our highway system.
Okay. So I think, as Jim pointed out just a little bit earlier, this is all going to play out here in the next couple of months.
Should be. Yeah. Should have an idea.
Should be wrapping up, yeah. When you talk about the district that you work for, PennDOT District 1, how big is that? What do you do? I mean, like, for example, when you go to work, Jim, when you go to work, Tom, what do you do?
Sure. And Jim can help speak on this too, but Northwest Pennsylvania PennDOT is 6 counties in the northwest part of the state. There's a little over 800 employees, and obviously the ones that people mostly see are our maintenance forces out there all the time. That's the big part of our employment.
Now there's an office, or there's a building there on Upper Peach Street. Yeah. You two don't work out of that office.
No, that's our county maintenance office. Each county has a maintenance office. And then we have our district office, where what we call the engineering district. Okay. That's where our design folks live, and also our construction folks too, when they're not out in the summer on projects.
Okay. So you have a big territory to cover.
Erie, Crawford, Mercer, Warren, Venango, and Forest County, 6 counties.
The nice weather counties in the winter.
They are.
Yeah. All right. We're talking with, on your left is Jim Carroll. Jim is the PennDOT District 1 press officer, and on your right is Tom McClellan. He is the PennDOT District 1 traffic engineer. And the thrust of our program today was to alert people that roundabouts are coming, and they're coming to Waterford, and they may be coming to Mill Creek, but I think pretty much they are going to come to Mill Creek, right there on Millfair and Westlake Road. So let's wrap it up with, Tom,
yes.
Got about a minute or so. The roundabout is going to be good, and it's going to look like, and here's what you can expect, and it's all yours.
Sure. So you as a motorist, when you approach the roundabout, you'll see the splitter islands, and you'll be slowing down, looking for pedestrians, and then when you approach the roundabout, there'll be a yield line with a yield sign. There you look to your left to see if there's any vehicles in the roundabout, because they're the ones that have the right-of-way. You know, as long as it's clear, you'll enter the roundabout, and you'll drive through it, and traffic goes in a counterclockwise direction.
So it's going to come up here as long as it's on camera, and it's going to be going around this way, and you can either exit there, exit there, exit there, because that is a 4 exit. Am I using the correct terminology?
Yeah, there's different.
This would be 3
entrances and exits there.
Yeah, the ones at Waterford and the one at Millfair, or they're 3-legged, but
3-legged, yeah.
So a little less complicated than the one I brought here today, but yeah.
This is a typical one.
Yes, right.
And again,
so in a little bit of time,
yeah, and again,
construction will start.
Yeah, construction will start this spring and hopefully wrap up before September.
Okay. Jim, anything you want to add to that as we head home here?
No, I think drivers may be apprehensive about this beforehand. I think once it's built, people will appreciate it. I know if I drive through Waterford during off-peak hours and I have the chance to drive through a roundabout rather than sit at a red light when there's no one else around me, I would pick this.
Yeah. And again, my experience was in New Jersey, when they said they were going to put a roundabout into a 1, 2, 3, almost it was 4, but it was a very dangerous 4. We cheered on that one because that was just so inherently bad there, and they had to do something, and they did the right thing by doing this. Jim, thanks. Yes.
We're not the only ones to do this. The Federal Highway Administration recognizes the safety and efficiency.
Okay.
They're promoting these in all the states.
They're promoting them in all the states. Jim, thanks for your time. Good to see you. Tom, nice to meet you. Thanks for your time and continued success.
Thank you.
And of course, thanks to you for joining us today right here. We are back. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying with us, and we will see you the next time. Take care.
You're watching the Mill Creek Government Channel, powered by WQLN Public Media.